Recently, I fell off track. My routines disappeared, my mind started spiraling, and even simple things felt harder to start. At first, I thought I needed to get it together by trying harder, but pretty quickly I realized I was just trying to fix the wrong problem. The situation needed something much simpler than that. So in this video, I want to share what happened, how simplifying the situation changed the way I saw it, and the few habits that helped me get my life together again. Part 1. When everything normal disappeared. It all started with a flu, and at first I didn't think much of it. I thought I would just take it a bit easier for a few days, but somehow those few days turned into this whole period where the small things that usually keep my life together started disappearing one by one. Usually I go for a walk every morning. I have done it for years and talk about that habit quite a lot on this channel because it really helps me feel like the day has started properly. But because I didn't want to make the flu worse or drag it out longer than necessary, I stopped doing those walks for a while. And even though that was probably the sensible choice, I noticed quite quickly that it also came with a cost. And the same thing happened with running. I wasn't feeling good enough to train, to work out, so I stopped that too, which again made sense. But running is one of those habits that give me a lot more than fitness. It gives structure to my days. It helps my mind reset and my body feel more energized. Without it, my mind feels way more restless. And I think that is where the whole thing started to build up. The sleep started to get worse. I was unable to focus, and work, so making these videos, didn't really flow at all. It wasn't even that I didn't want to work. I would sit down, open the document, try to write something or plan something, and it just felt like there was this wall in front of me. I could see what I was supposed to do, but I couldn't really get into it. And because making videos is such a big part of my normal rhythm and I like it very much, that added another layer of frustration. Usually, even when I don't have the perfect idea right away, I can still get into the flow after a while, or at least the next day if I take a day off. But at this point you might say, well, that is fine, just take some time off, be with your family, you have a 5-month-old baby at home, that will keep your mental health in check. And yes, that would probably be very good advice. There was only one small problem. My partner and baby had just left for a trip for a couple of weeks. So suddenly even that normal family rhythm was gone. And at that point, it felt like almost everything normal in my day had disappeared at the same time. I'm not in that place very often, so maybe that's why it felt so uncomfortable. I usually have quite a strong sense of direction. I like routines, I like structure, I like knowing roughly what the day is built around. So when that disappears, even for a short period of time, I can feel really lost and stressed out. And maybe for you, this feeling doesn't come from illness or from losing the same things I lost. Maybe your home has slowly become too full again. Maybe your schedule has become full of responsibilities, errands, and decisions. Or maybe you have just slipped into this version of life where you are technically doing fine, but your actual feelings don't match that. When that happens, at least for me, the overthinking usually starts. Because when I feel off, I immediately want to explain it. I want to know what it means. I need answers. And the more I try to understand it from that place of fear and stress, the bigger it starts to feel. And that is when you can turn all this into a much bigger problem. Because when you fall out of rhythm, the first thing you usually notice is your own behavior. You notice that you are not moving forward as much. You are not working as well. You are not progressing like you usually do. So it becomes very easy to look at yourself and think, okay, the environment changed a bit, but maybe I'm still the problem here. Maybe I am lacking motivation. Maybe I need just to be more disciplined and find some willpower. Maybe I just need to work harder. And I don't think those thoughts are always completely wrong. Sometimes we do need to take responsibility and stop waiting until we feel like 100% ready or until everything around us is perfect. But in this case, I don't think the problem was simply that I didn't feel motivated or that I needed to push myself back into normal life as fast as possible. I think the problem was that I was expecting my full normal self to show up when my life didn't have the same support around it anymore. And especially with work, that matters a lot. Making great videos depends a lot on energy, mental clarity, sleep, little routines, and having some kind of rhythm in the day. When those things are gone, it makes sense that the work feels different too. It doesn't always mean that the work itself is wrong. It can just mean that the basics around the work are not really there right now. Part 3. Adapt and stop living in the past. In the weeks leading up to this, I had this idea in my head that these days would be a perfect chance to really focus on two things: filming videos and working out. Those are two things I really enjoy, and they are also the things I often compromise on a little bit now because I want to be a better dad and a better partner. When you have a baby at home, your day is not fully yours in the same way anymore, and I'm more than okay with that. But because my partner and baby were going to be away for a bit, I had this thought that, okay, this is my window. This is the time where I can properly lock in, film more, train more, get ahead, use the space well, and then when I go to Italy myself a couple of weeks after them, I can be fully present there. And to be fair, it made sense as a plan. It just wasn't the reality I got. And that is where you have to be quite honest with yourself. You can spend a lot of time being annoyed about the week you thought you were going to have or the time that you were going to have. You can keep thinking about what should have happened, how productive you could have been, how much progress you could have made, and maybe even what you could have done differently. And I think there's a point where reflecting on that can be useful, but if you stay there too long, it stops being useful and just becomes another way to feel bad about something that has already happened, something that you cannot really change. At some point, you have to come back to what is actually real right now. And what was real for me was that I was tired, a bit sick, mentally all over the place, and not able to follow the plan I had imagined. So the original plan had to change. I needed to accept that these weeks were probably going to be a time where I do the minimum, take care of the basics, and slowly get myself back. Part 4. Choose your story wisely. This is a mental tool I've been trying to use more over the past couple of years. The idea is that when something doesn't go to plan, instead of only looking at what went wrong and accepting it like I just talked about, I try to look at what new opportunity the situation gives me. For example, maybe you plan to declutter your home on a free weekend, but then you only have half the time you expected. The usual story you tell yourself might be that now you cannot do it properly, but a better story would be that this opportunity might force you to make the project more intentional. Instead of shuffling everything around because you think you have so much time, you choose one area that actually affects your daily life the most, and the result, because of that, might be better in the end. Or maybe you wanted to build a perfect morning routine with healthy habits, but your busy life keeps interrupting it. The normal story might be that you cannot be consistent, so you should not build any routines. But the new opportunity might be that you stop trying to build a routine that only works on perfect days, and you create something more flexible, something that actually fits your real life, which means it has a much better chance of lasting. A good example of this happened to me last week when I filmed my video about frugal habits that we have here in the Nordic countries. I filmed the first half of the video and then I realized that the sun was hitting my face quite badly, so I decided to change my filming location for the second half of the video. No big deal, I moved the camera, pressed record and filmed the rest of the video. And honestly, I was pretty happy. My voice was still a bit down from the flu. It was a windy day, the whole thing was not perfect, but I felt like I had managed to get it done anyway. I was really happy. So I stood up to turn the camera off and then I realized something. I had never pressed record. And I know in the big picture, this is nothing. It's not life or death. It's just a work project. There are way worse things happening in the world every single day. But in that moment, for me, it felt really big. And I know these moments matter because these are the kinds of moments we actually face all the time in normal life. Small setbacks, small disappointments, small moments where something goes wrong and you feel like, okay, this, I'm done. I have a good reason to stop now. That is exactly how I felt. I was so frustrated because I thought the take had gone well despite the circumstances, and then suddenly it counted for absolutely nothing. For a moment I genuinely thought, okay, I just won't make this video. I won't film the second half again. I won't post it. Nobody will even know. And that would have been very easy. But I also knew that this was one of those small moments where the decision matters. Am I going to let this crush me, or can I use it as a chance to make something better? So after a few deep breaths, I changed the story. I decided to treat the first take as practice. I had already gone through the habits once, so now they were more familiar in my head. I knew which parts felt too long, and I knew which ideas needed a cleaner explanation. So instead of seeing the first take as wasted time, I tried to see it as this unpaid rehearsal that I apparently needed that day. And that is what I did. I filmed it again. Now, of course, I have no idea if the second version was actually better because the first one does not exist, but that's not even the main point. The main point is that I got the video done and I walked away with something more than just a video. I had this feeling that I didn't let the moment decide the rest of the day for me. If I had quit, I would have been left with frustration, no video, no pride in myself, and no recent experience of using this tool that I can now share here. The situation would have stayed as a mistake. Changing the story turned it into something much more useful. Part 5. Start smaller than your ego wants. Once I had accepted the situation and changed the story from this is how this whole period is going to go to this can still become something useful, the next step was to actually start building again. This is where the ego can get a little bit involved, because when you fall off track, there's this temptation to come back with big action. And I understand that feeling because part of you wants to prove that you are back. You want to make up for the lost days, but trying to fix everything at once often puts you right back into the same cycle. You do a lot for 1 or 2 days, then it becomes too much, then you stop again, and then you feel like you failed again. And that is such an easy loop to fall into. So for me, the better approach was to start with the thing that would probably give me the biggest impact first. And in my case, that was sleep and recovery, because without those, everything else becomes harder. Once I got those in check, I started adding things back one by one. Now I've been running again, but shorter than before, just enough to move my body and feel like I'm returning to that part of myself again. And with walking, today was actually the first day when I did my usual morning routine again. It was just the same walk I have done so many times before, but because I had missed it for a while, it felt so nice to be back in it. And that is the point. You don't need to restart with intensity, you need to restart with consistency. And another thing I've noticed is that the benefits of these habits don't always come immediately. Sometimes they do, of course. If I meditate for 15 minutes, I might feel calmer right away. But the bigger benefit usually comes after a couple of days. At least for me, it often takes 2 or 3 days of doing the basic self-care habits again before I really start to feel the difference. And that is basically where I am now. My routines are slowly coming back, my body is starting to feel better, and mentally I don't feel as lost as I did before. We all go through these moments in life. Sometimes something changes, the plan doesn't work, and suddenly you have to find your way back from a place you didn't really expect to be in. So I hope this video gave you a few tools for that through my own experience. If you would like to watch another video from me, check this one out next. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to stay kind and meaningful in your own beautiful journey. See you in the next one.